my senior year in college, Herbie came to the campus to open the new Arts Institute Museum, some kind of museum or something on campus, and my group opened for him. And my group just did ethnic music. We did Brazilian traditional candomblé, macumba. Then we did Haitian vodou drumming and singing and Cuban stuff and just all kinds of like the stuff that I was studying. And after the show, Herbie came to me. I didn't go to him. He came over to me and said, "Man, wow, that was interesting. Would you like to come and sit in with my band?" Well, hell yeah. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I mean, I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, wow. So I packed. That night I was so excited, man. I packed up a little duffel bag full of hand percussion. Don't call them toys. I'll get mad. I had some hand percussion.
Bill, is this like 1972?
This was 71, 72, 71, somewhere in 71, 72. And yeah, right, somewhere into 70, somewhere around in there. I can't pinpoint it. But I took a bag of instruments to the club in San Francisco. I had a couple of conga drums and a bag with some percussion instruments. I came in the club and I put the bag with the instruments on the side of the stage. I didn't put them on the stage. I put them on the side because I wasn't that presumptuous or that rude of a musician. Because I knew the game. I knew what was going on. I knew what to do, and I knew what not to do. So now here comes Herbie. I'm already there an hour or more behind. I'm all excited. It's Christmas to me. So Herbie walks in. There may have been 3 or 4 people in the club. This was an hour and a half before the show. And he walks in and he glances over to the right as he's going to the dressing room and he sees my stuff. He says, "What's all this shh?" You know what I'm saying, what word I'm using. He said, "What's all this SH over here?" And I heard him. I heard what he said. He went to the dressing room. I went over to my instruments and picked him up and I left. I didn't sit in with him. 6 months later, 6 months or more, whenever, 6 months later, he comes to do a lecture in the music department for the professor that I'm the TA for. I have to meet Herbie and pick him up and bring him to the class in a car. I pick him up and, he said, "Well, do we know each other?" And I'm already like, yeah, you ain't, I'm not really interested in your gab or anything you have to say. I had shut down on him. So he was persistent. And then eventually we talked and I told him what happened. He said, "I did that?" He said, "I did that?" I said, "Well, that's what happened." He said, "I did that." I said, "Yeah, you did that." He said, "Well, would you like to come and sit in with me tonight?" So I did. And from that point on, we struck up a really great friendship. Really good. It was, I didn't know what he was looking for. I didn't know what he was doing, but I was being auditioned. I didn't even know it. I really didn't know it. And I took him to basements to meet. I took him to meet young musicians in the Bay Area, which I introduced him to many. I don't know what he was trying to do, but we'd go to rehearsal to like people's rehearsals, and he met a lot of people. And a few months later, I sat in with him a couple of more times with Buster Williams and Julian Priester and Eddie Henderson. That was the band he had. Pat Gleason, and those are the people that I began to know around Herbie. So I wouldn't sat in. I didn't get paid though, but that's what you had to do. You had to do stuff like that, especially with someone like Herbie. Pay your dues. Pay your dues. Go in, shut up, sit down, listen, and hopefully you'll be around for something else. So one day I get a call on the phone, and Herbie says, "Bill, I'd like you to come to LA and play with me on a concert, and I'm going to pay you." Oh, what? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So he sends a ticket. He got his management sends me a ticket. He tells me what to bring my instruments, what to bring, and the SIR they came and picked my instruments up and shipped them out. And I get to the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium the day of this concert, and I walk in, and nobody's there but me. That That's in the band. And then I see some instruments on the stage. There was a harp and a grand piano, and then my percussion. And I'm waiting for the rest of the band to get there to load in. And Herbie pops up, and he bounces over, and he's a happy kind of guy. He comes, hey Bill, hi. I say, what's up, Herbie? Hi. And I said, well, Herbie, where's the rest of the band? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I don't see any instruments up here. It's just a harp and a piano. He said, that's it. It's me, you, and Alice Coltrane. That was my first real gig with Herbie. That was it. And from there, it was like going to his house, playing with him. He was auditioning people. And the band just happened to be the Headhunters. But it wasn't the Headhunters at the time. It was just the new band he was putting together.
So you were the first headhunter in effect?
I don't think so. I think Benny Maupin was.
Oh.
Benny Maupin was in the other band before the Headhunters. He kept Benny. Benny went from sextet into the Headhunters. And I think what happened is the people, Paul Jackson, the bass player, he and I were good friends. In the Bay Area, he was the bass player for the Headhunters. In the Bay Area, Paul and I played in bands with him, and I was playing sax and flute, and he was playing trombone. Okay? So, that was a special time and special musicians where you'd have guys that were good on those many type of instruments, So Paul was, it was hard to tell what the succession was because we would just pop up and in fact, I would go to Herbie's house and he would be auditioning other percussionists while I was sitting there. And I made friends with those guys because we were, percussionists are like brothers. They're like, you need each other, just to play together as an ensemble, you need other percussionists. So it wasn't any envy or jealousy there. It was competitive like hell. I was looking at all these guys coming in, playing for Herbie, and I got picked. That's like going to the Olympics.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Because if it wasn't for Herbie Hancock, I wouldn't have went around the world like I did. I must have went around the world with him 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
What was it like creating this music in studio?
Can you describe heaven? I don't know. I mean, it was wonderful, man. It was wonderful. It was great. It was great.